Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise before you on a matter of collective and personal privilege. Looking back to last week's Committee of the Whole two-day hearings, I couldn't help but think that we've been had. Instead of having the information needed to aid us in our legislative work, mainly because some people in the panel of our resource persons who are in charge of the vaccine program were not forthright and honest in their responses to the questions raised by the members of this august chamber. Nevertheless, we find comfort from the wise words of Winston Churchill, who said, and I quote, "Truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, and ignorance may deride it. But in the end, there it is." At the center of the firestorm that had almost consumed the two-day-long hearings and had consumed us the most was the Sinovac vaccine for a number of reasons. First, it was the best and the worst defended among the list or among at least 7 brands of vaccines that the Philippine government has put on the table for consideration. Vaccine Czar Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. and Health Secretary Francisco Duque III particularly were in chorus in claiming that we already secured Sinovac supply of 25 million doses. They claimed that we sealed the deal and have a locked-in agreement with Sinovac, and an initial 50,000 doses are already available for our vaccine delivery by February 20 onwards. Then, in a seemingly coordinated communication strategy, Presidential spokesman Secretary Harry Roque was announcing in a press conference that Sinovac vaccine was the only vaccine available from February to June, and Filipinos cannot be choosy, as in take Sinovac or wait until after June this year to be inoculated. When the Senate hearings raised more questions than answers about Sinovac, our officials were both tongue-tied and stuttering, leaving us with a string of flip-flopping pronouncements. Mr. President, I could not understand for the life of me why we are being kept in the dark when it comes to our price negotiations with Sinovac, while our neighboring countries could not be more transparent about it. Sure, our chief implementers have been invoking the confidentiality disclosure agreement, but what gives? In a statement released on October 14, 2020, by Indonesia's state-owned pharmaceutical company named PT Bio Farma, it was confirmed by no less than the company's president and director, Honesty Bashir, that they have sealed the deal with Sinovac Biotech at around 200,000 Indonesian rupiah, or $13.57, or 683 pesos and 30 centavos per Sinovac dosage once it becomes available. Even the Thailand government has been transparent in its negotiations with vaccine developers. Thailand Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha announced last week that their government is acquiring 2 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine from Sinovac. Based on the infographics posted by the Bangkok Post, which had gone viral hours after it was released, we see that Thailand was able to procure the Sinovac at $5 or 240 pesos per dose. Secretary Galvez, in his interview just this morning with ANC, quoted a Thai mayor who stated that they are, quote, ready to spend 100 million baht to buy vaccines for 70,000 residents if they receive permission to do so, unquote. He said that from these figures, Thailand's acquisition of the vaccine per dose would be $23.47. We pulled out the article to fact-check the validity of Secretary Galvez's figures. Unfortunately, somebody must advise him to reread and review the article carefully to see that the mayor of Nakhon Yala was not referring to any particular brand of vaccine, much less Sinovac. Going back to my previous point, Mr. President, Indonesia and Thailand were able to acquire the Sinovac at 683 pesos and 30 centavos and 240 pesos per dose respectively. Will somebody explain the 1,814 pesos and 75 centavos per dose price of Sinovac vaccine, or 3,629 pesos provided by the Department of Health to the Senate Committee on Finance during our budget deliberations late last year? Easily, I'm reminded of an old story about how corruption is committed in 3 Southeast Asian countries. Under the table, on the table, including the table. Secretary Galvez, in an attempt to appease the public, stated in a television interview that the cost of the Sinovac, when purchased through the COVAX facility, will decrease by as much as 300%. I still have not heard how the 300% reduction is a mathematical probability, Mr. President. In the absence or in the vaccine procurement without China or Sinovac Biotech Ltd, for that matter, giving us a rebate equivalent to 200%. It has been days of prodding, but still no clarification whatsoever has been made. It has been days since I had my good night's sleep. At any rate, it appears that our initial lock-in agreement with Sinovac, comprising 25 million doses, will not be covered by the ludicrous 300% markdown. As discussed during the hearings, the COVAX facility only has an agreement for early rollout in February with Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine of a limited quantity. COVAX has also secured agreements for AstraZeneca and Moderna and signed agreements for Johnson & Johnson and Sanofi GSK. There was no mention of Sinovac. When I asked Secretary Galvez a direct question on whether or not Sinovac is part of the COVAX program, his answer was, nag-a-apply pa lang. Then, during our second hearing last Friday, WHO representative to the Philippines, Dr. Ravindra Abhayasinghe, disclosed that under the WHO program, low and medium income countries are all actually recipients of free vaccines through the COVAX facility. And in fact, the Philippines has an allocation of 44 million doses of anti-COVID-19 vaccines. As I was observing our resource persons from where I sat, right in this hall, I didn't notice any glow in their eyes, or at least an expression of pleasant surprise in their faces, which should have been the case for a normal person after hearing such a wonderful piece of information. 44 million doses. My God, Philippines, my beloved Philippines, at 1,200 pesos per dose as the estimated average cost made by the Department of Finance for purposes of transacting loan agreements with the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, this would translate into 52.8 billion pesos worth of free vaccines. Isn't that wonderful, Mr. President? Yesterday, in another interview, spokesperson Harry Roque dismissed the initially released 3,600 price for 2 dosages of Sinovac as fake news. His exact words were, ang aking i-assure po sa inyo, fake news po yung kumakalat na 3,600 pesos daw ang singil ng China. Ang ating presyo, bagamat hindi pa maaaring i-anunsyo kung ano po talaga ang presyo ng Sinovac, ay hindi po nagkakalayo o hindi tayo lalayo sa presyo ng Indonesia na sa bandang 650 pesos kada turok. Early this morning, in his interview, Secretary Galvez clarified that the 3,629 price circulating on social media is that of the Sinopharm and not Sinovac. However, we must take note that Senator Angara stated for the record last Friday that the vaccine prices released by his office late last year, which included the Sinovac price and now going viral on social media, were furnished by the Department of Health to the Senate Committee on Finance during the 2021 budget deliberations. We dare ask, are Secretary Roque and Secretary Galvez saying that Secretary Duque was the peddler of that fake news? Imagine this, Mr. President. Marahil, kung sakaling hindi natalakay sa pagdinig ng Senado ang kontrobersya ng Sinovac at assuming natuloy ang orihinal na presyong $3,629 or $38 kada dalawang bakuna o 1,814 pesos equivalent to $19 kada turok kontra $5 sa Thailand. Easily, the price difference of 14 for 25 million doses would fetch 350 million US dollars or 16.8 billion pesos. That being said, I am not prepared to accuse anyone, particularly of corruption. Rather, it defies logic to suspect at least an attempt to overprice the vaccine. Again, when there is an attempt at overpricing, isn't it also logical to think na may kikita ng limpak na salapi? When the Pfizer issue came about, we asked, who dropped the ball? We haven't even gotten a clear answer, Mr. President. And now, on the Sinovac vaccine, we ask, who dropped the price? Mr. President, in any case, if indeed it is true that the government was able to bring down the cost of from 3,600 pesos for 2 doses of Sinovac biotech vaccine named CoronaVac or 1,800 per dose to 650 pesos per dose or at least 60% than the previous DOH figures, well and good. We can say that the Senate, through the Committee of the Whole hearings, triggered by Senator Kiko Pangilinan's Senate resolution, has done its fair share in protecting the public coffers and saving our people billions of pesos in the national vaccination program. Not to mention that this is also attributed to the collective effort of our netizens to demand transparency from our chief implementers on our government's negotiations with the controversial Sinovac Biotech Limited. Mr. President, true to their tactic, if you cannot convince them, confuse them. Our vaccine program officials brought more confusion and bewilderment in their rush to procure Sinovac. And luckily for them, we do not get confused easily. Notwithstanding the lack of emergency use authorization or EUA of Sinovac in the Philippines, Secretary Galvez was positive that we will have a rollout of the vaccine next month and onwards. In his words, as if speaking on behalf of the Food and Drugs Administration, yung EUA po ng Sinovac ma-approve po before February 20. Maganda ang arrangement natin kasi may darating kada buwan, unquote. We know for a fact that stringent conditions have to be complied with before the FDA issues an EUA for a COVID-19 vaccine. This is a condition sine qua non to the use of any vaccine in the Philippines. Needless to say, the assurance made by Secretary Galvez that Sinovac will be approved before its supposed rollout somehow sends an impression of undue preference for the Sinovac over other available vaccines. It also poses the question, are we not preempting the independent evaluation of the Food and Drugs Administration with such pronouncement from the Chief of the National Vaccine Program? On top of this, FDA also claimed that they have not yet started their assessment of the Sinovac application since the results of its phase 3 clinical trials have yet to be released. With no FDA approval from any stringent regulatory authorities and no results of phase 3 trials for EUA approval in this country, why do our officials keep on blowing their horns about Sinovac? When pressed further, Secretary Galvez averred that they have no obligation to buy from Sinovac until they meet certain conditions. Even our path of procurement raises eyebrows, Mr. President. In a pronouncement made by the President, he said that government-to-government transactions will be better than dealing with private pharmaceutical companies because it will lessen the possibility of entering into anomalous deals. In an interview of Secretary Galvez, he was also quoted saying, ang Sinovac ay G2G lang ang arrangement. Mr. President, will somebody explain why our vaccine SAR claims that in procuring Sinovac, we only follow government-to-government transaction, yet in his testimony last Friday, upon questioning by the Minority Leader Franklin Drilon, he contradicted himself once more in saying that they're dealing with a certain Helen Yang, who is an executive of a private firm, Sinovac Biotech Limited, based in Hong Kong. A quick Google search on Miss Helen G. Yang shows that she used to be the manager for international business development at Sinovac Biotech Limited and is presently the investor relations contact of this Beijing-based biopharmaceutical company. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, scientists and experts have been trumpeting the importance of phase 3 clinical trials in evaluating the human health outcomes of any new test or treatment. When it comes to developing a new vaccine, this is the stage where tests are conducted on larger populations and in different countries and regions to evaluate its safety and efficacy. Over the past weeks, our people in various platforms have been demanding answers on why we are selecting a vaccine with a higher price but with relatively lower efficacy rates or with lower number of individuals tested in trials when compared to other available vaccines. Last hearing, Mr. President, I raised the question on the calculation of the efficacy rate of Sinovac in the clinical trials conducted by Sao Paulo Butantan Biomedical Center in Brazil. Using the formula on efficacy rate of vaccine by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, which is measured by calculating the risk of disease among vaccinated and unvaccinated persons or placebo group and determining the percentage reduction in risk of disease among vaccinated persons relative to unvaccinated persons. Simply put, efficacy rate is equal to 1 minus the relative risk or risk ratio, or RR. It appears, using the CDC formula, that the efficacy rate of 50.4% actually represent the risk ratio, and the more accurate and complete calculation of efficacy rate is 49.58%, well below the acceptable threshold set by the WHO. FDA Director General Eric Domingo and Philippine Medical Association Representative Dr. Lulu Bravo both agreed that this is the standard formula of calculating the efficacy rate. Anyway, I better leave the matter to our experts for scrutiny and analysis while we await the results of phase 3 of the trials. Early on his administration, President Duterte claimed that he would not follow the government's lowest bid rule in awarding contracts for government, as this usually results in substandard equipment, projects, and services and leads to corruption. I agree with him fully in this regard, Mr. President, but with a caveat that quality must be an indispensable consideration. Relative to the procurement of vaccines, it must be pointed out that in terms of cost and quality, Sinovac ranks as the second most expensive vaccine with its efficacy rate falling among the lowest tiers compared to others. Thus, the issue with Sinovac is not just a matter of price, but more importantly, that of efficacy. We face a serious dilemma not only in sourcing vaccines, but most importantly, in winning public trust and confidence. With the recent poll showing that only 25% of Filipinos are willing to be vaccinated, while 28% won't get the vaccine and 47% are undecided, there's much to do in advancing our agenda. We should start with transparency, openness, and competence for the best interests of our people. They have the right to be informed of their options, to choose or to refuse. They deserve no less.